Hi, everybody. Oh, excuse me. Hi, everyone. This is Lucy. Welcome to this LinkedIn Live. Today, I am here with you to talk about how to present yourself as a high impact leader without saying a word. Now, I'm here to talk about this because let's be real, before you do say anything, a room has already decided how much authority and how much credibility you have. And that is largely based on your visual communication and the message that your clothes are sending. Okay. If you're joining me live, welcome. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Drop a note in the comments. Let me know where you are watching this from. And if you are watching this on the replay, a very warm welcome to you too. I'm in the south of Spain and I'm Lucy. If you don't know me, I am the founder of Style Rises and I work with high performing, driven women and I help them use personal style to accelerate their confidence, to accelerate their visibility, and of course, to accelerate their executive presence. And what I want you to take away from today is a really clear understanding of how to align your image so that it supports your leadership authority and so that it actually supports you making the impact that you want to have. So we are live. If you have questions during this session, you can drop them into the comments below. I will be circling back at the end and I'll be answering those questions for you. Okay. Before we go any further into this session, I want you to do something with me. I want you to think of someone you see as a high impact leader. Now, it could be someone high profile, might be someone that you don't know personally, it might be someone that you see in the media, or you might see them on LinkedIn, or it could be someone that you do know personally. Maybe it's someone that you've worked with, maybe it's a leader that you've worked with, a leader that you're working with now. It could just be someone that you really, really deeply respect. And I want you to take a moment and I want you to consider and ask yourself, what is it about them that makes you take notice when they walk into a room? So, what is it, and we're talking about the visual here. What is it about their visual communication that when they walk into a room, before they have spoken, what is it that makes you take notice of them? I can certainly think of, a number of leaders I had in my corporate career who had this sort of impact. And some of the characteristics that you might come to mind for you are things like perhaps they always look polished. So they don't look overdone, but they certainly look polished and they look put together. Or you might notice that they have a really recognizable style, right? It might be something that is very memorable. It feels that it really genuinely reflects and connects to who they are. It might be that they look at ease, right? They look at ease in themselves and in the clothing and the styling that they are wearing. So I really encourage you to think about, that have someone in your mind now and to really think about the characteristics of that person. And the takeaway from doing this exercise is presenting yourself as a high impact leader, it is not something accidental. It is something that is intentional. And let me be honest that just throwing on a red blazer, or maybe you've got a bright blue blazer over an all black outfit, is not magically going to give you presence, and it's not going to magically give you authority unless that is really, really intentional. Now, if you want to drop in the comments what was the characteristic and you want to share that about the leader that you have in mind, absolutely, drop that in as well. Great to see you, Christine, again. Lovely to see you here. Okay, so most women who are working in leadership, which are the women that I work with, they're not lacking leadership. They're not lacking leadership skills. But often what happens is their style and their image is not helping support their sense of feeling like a leader. And so if our clothes aren't supporting us to feel like a leader, that absolutely will be felt also by other people around us. And so often I speak to women who will regularly tell me that before they have an important meeting or they've got to present something, they actually feel anxious, right? They feel frustrated at the thought of, what am I going to wear? If that resonates for you, feel free to drop a yes in the comments. Sometimes they may try on 3, 5, it might even be more than that. It could be 6 or 7 outfits, trying to find, the right one. And all of this is really going to have an impact then on how confident they are walking into that meeting. So there's a lot of second guessing going on. And often the next thing that happens that I often hear is they will end up defaulting to safe pieces. And there's safety in those pieces. That's why I call them safe pieces. They're okay. They are okay. They will get them through, but they're not helping them, to walk into that room really making the impact that they want to make. And these are really capable, incredibly intelligent women. As for anyone who's watching this and for all of you joining me, right, you absolutely know that you are capable. I know that you are capable. But often there is a disconnect because there's this sense that your image isn't helping to reinforce that. And so that's what we're really diving into today, because high impact leadership, style and presence, it's intentional. And we want to find where your image is aligned with your leadership, because when there is that nice alignment, you feel it, and I'll tell you what happens. You stop thinking about it because it works, right? When you've got that style and you don't have to think about it or overthink about it or feel frustrated or anxious about it, you stop thinking about it, and that's when you show up differently. And when you start to show up differently, the next thing that happens is everyone else starts responding differently too. So that is what this is also about. So I want to share with you the first shift around being intentional. I want to share with you 3 key shifts to helping you have this intentionality around that high impact, right? Like presenting yourself as a high impact leader. And I think the first one is probably one of the things that so often we overlook, but it's one of the most important. You need to define, right? You really need to define how you want to show up as a leader. And so what does that mean? It means that you have a really, a really well-considered understanding about who you are and what you want your image to say, and dressing for that. I so often see women dressing in black. I know it's the easy choice so often. But, sometimes they might be wearing, colors that wash them out. They might be wearing, prints that feel very outdated. And none of that is sending the message of what they actually want to say and be known for. And so before you go and buy anything else, because I think that can often be what we do, right? The antidote to this is then we go off to the stores and we buy something new, hoping that is going to solve the problem. But no, the first thing that we should really be doing is actually sit with yourself. Sit with yourself, take the time to think and ask yourself really honestly, how do I want to show up? How do I want to present myself? What do I want my image to say about me? And if you do that, and if you sit long enough with it, you will get the answers. You'll get some insights into how do you want to define yourself. And I really think that having some words around your style are very helpful to help anchor you. If you do have some words around your style, or if you've perhaps done this exercise, or you've considered before around how to define yourself, how you want to define how you show up, share in the comments with me. I truly believe that having a language and some words that you can apply to your style, and this is something very personal. They won't be the same for everybody, but it's just one of the best ways to filter out the noise. There is a lot of noise out there in retail land, we know. And so if you can bring everything back regarding your style and image back to you, back to some words that help to anchor you, that is a really, really powerful first step. So really take some time to think about and define how you want to show up. And then, of course, the next step to that is you need to be able to visually translate what that actually looks like. But starting with some words, are going to be incredibly, incredibly powerful for you. So I hope this is resonating with you all so far. As I said, please drop a yes in the comments. Let me know that it is. The second shift that I want to share with you today is around not just dressing professionally. I think that we have, as women and men too, really, we have been told that, we need to dress professional. The thing is, having impact, having authority requires more than just being professional. Yes, We need to look, appropriate. We want to be able to have an outfit that is going to connect with the culture of the company that we are in. And we want to have an outfit that's going to help us connect with the audience, that's with us as well. But too often, what I see, particularly with the women who come to me, is they have professional, neat, let's say technically appropriate outfits with zero differentiation. So there is absolutely nothing to help you stand out. If you are just dressing professional, dressing appropriately, being neat and tidy, that is not going to create impact. That is the baseline that we need, yes, in professional environments, but just dressing for that alone often leads to bland, boring outfits. And that is not going to get you noticed. Let me share a client story with you. I had a client who was in a very corporate environment, and it was more traditional. Certainly when she went into it, she'd been with that company for around about 10 years. It was a very, very traditional corporate environment. And so her outfits were all neutrals. They were all dark neutrals. They were very safe. She absolutely blended in. And she then reached a point where she wasn't moving in that company. She decided she wanted to change, and she actually wanted to step into a very different industry. That industry was not traditionally corporate like where she was. And dark corporate suits definitely weren't the way to go. She needed to look professional in that industry, but she also needed to stand out and be memorable. And, it wasn't about making her outfits over the top or super loud or flashy, but it was about making sure that every single outfit that she put on added to her confidence, added to her personal presence, and it added to her sense of personal power. And the outfits that she was wearing before really weren't doing that. She felt safe. She felt conservative in them. I can see there's a comment there that someone's mentioned, dressing professionally equals dressing conservatively. That, conservativeness in certain industries, hey, it might work. And historically, yes, that has been a lot of the dress code. It's a different world today. And to have impact, you need to be dressing in a way that is going to help you stand out and help you be memorable. And it is no longer about blending in. And it is really about owning who you are. And when you own who you are, you step into your power. And that's the sensation. That's the sense that you want to take in when you are entering a room. And that client story actually leads me to the next insight I want to share with you. And the next insight and shift that I want you to walk away with is this: distraction dilutes impact. I'm going to say that again because I think this is really important. Distraction dilutes impact. And that same client that I just mentioned, with her dark neutral suits that she had been wearing for many, many years, as I mentioned, like that was the dress code when she entered. The thing was, she was always adjusting and tugging and pulling at her jackets and her skirts and her pants. None of that really felt comfortable for her. And so in the moment that you do that, where you are trying to fix or adjust, right, your outfit, you're moving things about, you instantly lose focus. You instantly distract and move your attention, and so does your audience. Their attention and their focus is also lost. And so what I want you to take away from this is this: your outfit is there to support your confidence. It is not there to be distracting to you. And if it is distracting to you, then that is really going to dilute your impact. And I will often talk about the confidence that comes from wearing an outfit that honestly makes you look and feel like $1 million. You look in the mirror and you go, wow, I have got this today. I am walking out that door looking and feeling like $1 million. But there's another part to, there's another side to this confidence. There's another element to it. And that is when you are in that room, you're standing at, the front of the room. You might have the board in front of you. You might have the executive team in front of you. You might have a panel of interviewers in front of you. And in that moment, you are 100% focused and present. There are zero distractions. There are zero doubts about your outfit. That is the other element of wearing an outfit that makes you look and feel $1 million and gives you the confidence. It is the freedom that you're not thinking and you're not worrying about what you're wearing. That is confidence. That is what impact looks like. And that is really what is helping you to own the room. It's giving you that presence and it's giving you that authority from the moment, the very, very moment that they see you. Because as I mentioned at the beginning, that's when people are already starting to weigh you up and they're already believing something about your credibility and your authority. Okay, I'm just going to jump into the comments and have a look. Hi, Nassim, great to see you here. Hello to the other ladies, and comment your comments. Yeah, it's something that we have been told, and I imagine you're commenting around the dressing professionally, right? Women, we have traditionally been told that. Yes, it matters, but we need to make sure that we're not doing that alone and we are adding our own sense of personality and who we are and getting clear on how we want to show up and making sure we're doing that through our clothing. If you have questions, ladies, please drop them into the comments. What I want to do now is a quick recap of the 3 main things that I covered here today. So the first one was define who you are. Define how you want to show up as a leader. That is the first step, to really sit back and to spend that time with yourself. Spend that time with yourself to get really clear on that. The second step that I shared was dressing professionally alone is not going to get you there. Authority does not look like that. So you want to make sure that you're also you're not dressing to blend in, you are dressing to stand out. And the final one that I shared was distraction dilutes impact. Okay, nothing about your outfit should be distracting to your audience, and it should not be distracting to you. It should absolutely add to the level of support that you feel. Your outfit is really there to support you, and it's there to help you feel even more confident. And Nassim, your comment around same as hair, it shouldn't be distracting or needing constant attention. Yes, exactly. There are many things in our outfits that we can feel distracted by. As Nassim's just mentioned, hair's one of them. Not having clothing that fits well is probably one of the biggest things I see, because if it doesn't fit well, you are constantly adjusting and pulling at things. If you have chosen something that you don't feel 100% comfortable in, you can be distracted. You might sit down and suddenly find that, your skirt or your dress rides up too high and you feel really uncomfortable in that. that will be a distraction. And in the moment that happens, your focus and your attention is gone. And we don't want to do that. You are there to make an impact. You are, there in those important moments to deliver and inspire and do what you do best, and your outfit's there to support you. And that we don't want it. We don't want it to be any sort of distraction. Okay, so from what I have shared today, my question for you, you can answer this now, you can go away and think about this, but from what I've shared today, do you feel that your wardrobe presents you as a high impact leader? I think it's really important that we can ask ourselves these questions. Everything starts with self-awareness. And so really have a think about, when you look at your wardrobe and you look at your style and image, and think about, when you're going into important meetings and presentations, do you feel that you are presenting as a high impact leader? Or do you feel anxious or nervous, going into those meetings? Are you one of those people who is, thinking, oh my goodness, what outfit am I going to put together? Or am I going to go back to the one safety outfit that I know that I have? Do you want to have more impact? If that is why you're here today, if that's, why you're listening here today, and you're thinking, yes, I want to have more impact, and I am struggling with this, please feel free, DM me impact, so we can explore how I might support you. Hope this session has been helpful. Thank you to everyone who has come on and joined me today. Thank you for interacting and your comments coming through. And I'll be here again. Next week. We are getting, really, really high, really, really close to Christmas now, aren't we? Next week, though, I do believe I'll be doing a session. It'll be the 23rd. I know it's heading into Christmas, but you can always watch these on a replay. So if you're not here live, you can always jump back and watch it on a replay. All of the different sessions that I'm doing weekly here are on my LinkedIn profile, so you can just jump into events from there. It's been great. It's been great seeing you all again. Thanks once again. And I'll be here again next week. I'll see you soon. Bye.